Hi everyone, it's Mushy. Today our lesson is a review on adding and subtracting fractions with uncommon denominators. Okay, so we've been spending the past couple of days on problems like this. 2/3 plus 1/5. So as you can see, our two fractions, 2/3 and 1/5, have denominators that are not the same. If they are not the same, that means that they are uncommon. Okay? So what we have to do in order to solve this problem is we have to find common denominators. We cannot just add 2/3 plus 1/5 and you get 3/8. That's crazy. Let me explain to you why that's so crazy. Alright, here's our problem. Let's go ahead and draw a model or a picture. So we're going to try and draw as equivalent as we can two rectangles. I'm going to split this into thirds. I'm going to split the second one into fifths. And then I'll have this last one down here. And we're going to split it into 8 pieces. Okay, and I'm going to show you why that does not make sense. It's not possible. Okay, so in our first one, 2/3, I'm going to shade in 2 pieces to represent 2/3. And our second one, I'm going to shade in 1. So we can see in the 2/3 diagram or model that the pieces are more than half. Okay, if we were to take a look at this, where this dotted line, that's about half. I know. Work with me here, okay? So if you were to add 2/3 and 1/5 and get 3/8, I don't know what's going on here because this is what your model would look like, okay? It is actually less, this picture, the part that's shaded, is actually less than 2/3. Do you see that? If I were to compare the shaded parts, it doesn't make any sense. That's one of those times when you have to do a sanity check and, ask yourself, does this even make sense? Clearly, it does not make sense. Okay, so do not do fractions like this. No way, Jose. All right? We need to do adding and subtracting fractions with uncommon denominators the correct way. Let's begin, shall we? All right. Let's take a look at that original problem that I showed you on the first section of this video. So it was 2/3 plus 1/5. Okay, so in order to solve this problem, there are a couple different strategies that you can do. It's really up to you how you want to figure out the final answer for this problem. I'm going to show you 2 ways, and then you can decide which way you want to do it. There's kind of a shorter way, and then there's a little bit of a longer way. But if the longer way works for you, then by all means, that's the way that I'm going to encourage you to do it. So you need to look at your denominators in your problem, 3 and 5, and ask yourself, 3 and 5 are factors of what number? I'll wait. 15. 15 is the first one that you should have thought of. 30 could work as well, in all honesty, but that's going to require you to do a little bit more mental math, which is also fine. However, I'm going to go with the least common denominator for this problem, and that is actually going to be 15. So now that we have our common denominators, we have won the lottery, baby. Jackpot, bingo, bango. Let's go buy some candy. Wait a second. No candy. First thing you have to do is you have to finish this problem, and then candy. Okay? Let's go. So, taking a look at the denominators, your new denominator is 15. So you have to do a little bit of algebra here. You have to ask yourself 5 in the bottom fraction. 5 times what number would be 15? That would be 3. Now, in order to keep these equal or equivalent, what you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. Okay, so that's going to give you 3 as your new numerator for the top number. Okay, then you have to do the same on this top fraction. And so you're going to get 10/15. So So 10/15 plus 3/15 equals 13/15. You would check to see if you could reduce that, and you can't, so that should be your final answer. 10/15 plus 3/15 equals 13/15. All right, I'm going to show you the same problem, but another way to solve it, and you can kind of decide which one you would prefer to, which strategy you would prefer to use. Okay, so this is going to be the second way that I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. So remember our original problem, 2/3 plus 1/5. Okay, now if some of you are feeling a little confused after that first way, that's totally fine. My goal, of course, is for you to understand how to do that, to add and subtract fractions with uncommon denominators. But if that way is just not clicking for you, then maybe this way will work. So essentially, when we are trying to find a common denominator, we are trying to find two equivalent fractions for our original fractions in our problem. Okay? And most of you, all of you in class know how to find equivalent fractions. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with 2/3. So we've got 4/6. Then we would have the, let's see, the third multiple would be 6/9. We would have 8/12. We would also have 10/15. Make this a little, there we go, a little smaller so I can fit some more on there. Then we would have 12/18. And that's where I'm going to stop. I'll start with the first 5 or 6 multiples. And remember, I'm trying to find a fraction that has the same denominator for the first fraction, which would be 2/3, as the second fraction, 1/5. So let's go ahead and then we're going to start the bottom number. So we would have 2/10. And then 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, I'm going to stop. I can stop. And the reason that I'm stopping is that I have found two fractions with common denominators, 10/15 and 3/15. 10/15 is equivalent to 2/3, and 3/15 is equivalent to 1/5. Now that I find my common denominators, I can add. So I'll just go ahead and add 10/15 plus 3/15 equals 13/15. Look at that. So this is another strategy that you could use if you're not quite sure about, the factors part from the first part of this video. You can start listing equivalent fractions. Once you have found one in each row that has the same denominator, like we did here, 15, 15, you can stop and then complete your problem. May it be adding or subtracting. Okay? So that concludes our lesson on adding and subtracting fractions with uncommon denominators. I just want to remind you in closing that I feel that you are going to do awesome today on this lesson. I think that all of you are so close, and some of you have gotten it, and I know that you're going to be able to be successful today. All right, have fun adding and subtracting fractions with uncommon denominators.